Well, nothing like laying idle for 2 years and then hopping back on here. Just heading back from St. Louis and figured I'd hop on here and just speak my mind. We're getting into that prime time where people get excited with leaves falling, bucks are showing their faces a little more, and just wanted to get into a little bit of my thought process and just, the years I've hunted as far as what I've seen and what I've gathered. Up until now it's pretty much, call it early season. You've heard me say I think the lull is a farce. I don't think it's so much that they just sit there and are avoiding getting out of their beds, and they're savoring that energy, for the rut in particular, and they're just loading up on whatever nutrition they can at that time. So they're not moving as much, but with the start of the velvet coming off, the testosterone starts changing. You do see them start to get a little bit more active when the cold fronts hit or when the moon phases hit, something that's triggering them. Even on off days, the moon and weather doesn't even have to trigger them. I've seen big deer move in daylight hours without any of that even taking place. But early season, in my opinion, honestly, is my favorite time to get after a mature deer, because if you do, I've slowed down on the trail camera side of things, but back in the day when I was running 60 to 80 trail cameras, it was almost too easy. You could get a deer's pattern and what he was doing, and then all of a sudden that first cold snap that we had in early October, you knew you were going to have a chance at him. He was going to break during daylight, and you were going to have a chance at him. I can't tell you how many times I've had encounters or even shot deer early October, and screwed them up, of course, but live and learn. It's one of my favorite times to honestly hunt, but coming into right now, there's honestly just, I think, 3 phases in my opinion, maybe 4. You got the pretty much early season that just took place. A lot of people harvested, a lot of youth hunters were successful, and then you get into this, you can call it pre-rut, but I think it's all just part of the rut, where the deer are actively making scrapes. They're on their feet during daylight hours. It doesn't matter the temperature. It doesn't matter the moon. Does that increase your odds? Yes, it does. But it doesn't matter truly. And I think, that's the best time too, like when you can start calling, whatever you feel is effective. Some people like blind calling. Some people, won't call until a deer's in their sight. But are you using those calls effectively? You don't want to get into scenarios where, say this week, Wednesday, is a cold front's moving in, high pressure. It's not a scenario that you want to just sit in there and start racking them horns together, just absolutely clobbering them. That's just not what happens. You want to start off tickling them and then working your way into it. You can have whatever sequence you want, but my recommendation was don't sit there and just try to ram them into each other as hard as you can right off the bat. And secondly, don't be using a breeding grunt. And I would say don't overcall. I would have a sequence in line and see if you can catch a buck's attention, even a doe's attention. I've several times caught a doe's attention and brought her in, and that doe comes in, and if that buck was with that doe, not saying it was for breeding reasons, but just they got their groups throughout the summer and that they start getting into more often, and the colder weather that they start getting into. So maybe he was with her and she drags him along. You never know. Calling's always been, I've never perfected it per se. And the same thing with the decoy. You're going to get aggressive bucks that are going to want to come after you. You're going to get bucks that see it and they are gone. And I think that's all determined on the decoy size, antler sizes, you know, and so forth, and not just that deer in general. But yeah, coming into where we're coming, I mean, it's a fun part. It can be I think it can be more frustrating than the lull that they claim is a lull. But I think it can be more frustrating than early season sometimes. You know, you're seeing all this deer activity and scrapes and a little more rubs here and there, and it's like, all right, you're gonna go hunt over those, and then you're not seeing the deer. Well, they're doing, you know, it's a lot of nighttime activity. Well, you know, that first high pressure, you know, might get them in daylight activity throughout them scrapes. But you know, it's a live and learn with it. I think after this phase, I just pretty much go from, you know, like I said, early season to rut. I don't consider it pre-rut. I don't consider any of that. I mean, it's all part of their rut. And then, you know, you get into, you know, first, you know, 8th through the 12th, I'd say that anywhere in there, the bucks are probably going to start that lockdown phase where you pretty much, your chances go down drastically. You're pretty much waiting for a doe to come by and there's going to be a buck trailing her. I'm not saying nothing can be done, but, you know, to hit your target buck, I think your best bet is November 1st through the 7th. I think they're really seeking out a doe to take off, and I think after that, if you do have your target bucks, whether you're on private or public, doesn't matter, because I mean, people try to manage deer on public ground too, but if you have them bucks that you're getting pictures of regularly and have gotten pictures regularly, I think that stops in that week as soon as they find a doe to run off with. And then other people and you're going to start seeing new bucks too, because you're going to have other bucks that are finding them does and, you know, running them through your property and finding a place to stage them up and get them comfortable. So, and then you got the late season after that, you know, when they're done breeding them and they're trying to find their next set, and you know, the hard chase is off. It's more of a leisure, and you know, they're not super focused on food, but the ones who do have them nutritional plots, I mean, you're gonna see them, you know, hitting them hard. And I would say too, in that first to 7th range, I think you're gonna see a lot more midday movement too, and just all day movement, not just midday movement. Everyone just says midday movement, you know. Like I said at the beginning, this podcast ain't gonna be perfect. I'm just spitting out here what the knowledge that I've gained over the years and just throwing it on here, and I honestly come back and listen to it myself and just reflect on it, on what I've seen. So I am going to try to do a little better this year, on maybe not an every day, but we're heading on a out-of-state hunt here and coming up, and I'll give you some feedback there. It's still within the Midwest, and give some feedback there on what we're seeing maybe every day while we're there, and what I'm seeing. I'm definitely going out Wednesday. Got that slotted in. Get out in the tree stand and see what we can see. But yeah, it's almost like Merry Christmas this time of year for all of us bow hunters. I actually, driving back from Missouri, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do some major glassing on the drive back tonight. And I caught 2 bucks, one really nice buck on a field edge, making a scrape. I actually got to see him pee on his glands and everything. It was pretty sweet. So, and it got me amped up, and that's pretty much why I guess I'm on here. But yeah, I would love to have anyone on if they wanna pop on, or, you know, like I said, if you got any stories you want to share, feed them my way. Let me get them on here. I just want it to be an informational podcast for the Midwest. Let me know what you're seeing. Let me know some of your tactics you've been using have been working. I know I got to go see if the outdoor store's got 50 bottles of deer dander, because I know I douse myself in that. That is one thing that, man, it lets you get away with so much Evercalm's kind of the same thing. It's just a herd scent, and the only thing, Evercalm did come out with some spray now, but it already gotten, back when they used to have the stick, it was like, I don't want to rub this stick all over myself, and there's like, it looks like you're rubbing deodorant all over yourself. So I switched to deer dander, and you know, that's just a spray bottle with the extracted herd scent. And man, it's almost like nose jammer, I guess, in a sense, but you can get away with deer dead downwind. They're curious about it. I don't think it's drawn attraction so much that I've like been blown. I think it's given me more opportunities to see more deer. But overall, that's one of my top go-tos in the fall is deer dander by Fitzgerald's. So yeah, excited to start putting some more hours in the tree stand though this upcoming couple weeks, and gonna hit up Nebraska rifle season and see how that goes. And I've never been much of a rifle hunter, but old age, broken back, kind of leaning towards some of those hunts, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, good luck to everyone out there, and I'll hop on here on Wednesday, because I'm gonna do a morning sit and an evening sit. So I'm gonna try tickling and try just doing a couple hey, I'm here grunts. So see how that goes. But yeah, I'll hop on here Wednesday, give you a little update on where we're at and what's going on out there. So all right, stay safe, wear your harness.